All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the weekly scraps. I got my mans in here, straight out of the Dale, as people will call us the Onion. Don't call us that because we'll wash you up.
You heard?
Kev, we're shaking, my boy.
What's goody?
We're about to break down some fights. But before we get into that, just tell people about yourself. A little about yourself.
I'm a professional sports analyst, you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And I also fix buses in my main career, you know.
Talk to him.
You know. That's about it. Do videography, photography on the side, you know, if anybody wants some pictures, some videos, holla at me.
Where are you located, though?
Uniondale. You want the exact location?
Send me location. Dana, send me his location right now.
Yeah, I mean, I can shoot those countdowns for you. What's up?
Nah, that's a fact. Might have to get you a part of the team because we're doing the weekly scraps media now. Mm-hmm. And I think that's going to be like our new thing that we're going to do and try to give these other athletes like
some shine,
more opportunities to like really, what would you say? I guess promote themselves. Sometimes I feel like they have a little bit of a difficult time doing that because a lot of these people, they be saying they be want to do this shit.
Yeah.
But then when the camera's in front of them,
yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy. I feel like promotion is another half the battle when it comes to fighting because you could have, I mean, obviously you need the talent, but like you also need promotion. Yeah. Like you look at people like, I guess Patty and stuff like that, how they just get so...
The body.
The body. He gets pushed. You know, these people get pushed. Ian and, you know, all these other guys, like, you need promotion. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like somebody like, who's your teammate?
Steamroller.
I feel like he's been under the radar, you know what I mean? But he's good. So I feel like he should be fighting better people. But I guess because he doesn't have that promotion behind him, maybe. I don't know.
See... I don't want him to fight people that are that much better yet if it's going to be the same pay. I think when they give him that rate, do that Sean O'Malley route. Like now he's got 2 first-round knockouts over 2 undefeated guys. I mean, that's huge. So for him, it's like, well, you're going to get paid the same thing you're going to get paid to fight the other guy who's unranked versus the guy who is ranked. So it's like, you want to take that chance and fast track? Okay, there's something to that. But if you're not guaranteed like a good matchup, I mean, I know some people are going to be like, well, you got to take the chance. This is why you fight. You got to fight everybody. Yeah, but there's some strategy that's involved in this. Yeah. You don't just say, I'm going to fight Khabib tomorrow morning. Like, it just doesn't work like that. And if you do, good luck. And what do you want to say? Like, oh, I tried? I mean, it's good to try, but you want to make sure you're at least taking a calculated, making calculated efforts, not just going out there getting your ass whipped. And then, like, you tried, not really.
Yeah, for the name of fame or whatever.
Exactly. And I think people are catching on to the Steamroller because he's actually a funny dude. He's an interesting guy, man. It's just like,
never hung out
how do you operate like this? His wavelength is just different. And he's a good energy, good time, always happy. Like usually in a good mood, except when he's cutting weight, when he's turning into this steamroller when he's coming. So he has a process.
Yeah.
He comes down from the cream roller. He gets to, you know, so he's big body, no, he's cream roller. Then he's like big body steam where he's just like big body. Yeah. Then he's turning into like the lean roller. And then he's the steam roller on fight night, you know. So at least that's the way I look at him. I break him down in that order.
You gave him these names?
No, all of them. He calls himself Big Body Steam, baby. And he'll flex. I'm just like, yo, this is hilarious.
That's funny.
Yeah. So when he puts the weight back on. But yeah, that's what we're trying to do. So we actually just launched it on YouTube. But we're thinking about just merging it all into my channel and just doing it like that and changing the name of my page to the Weekly Scraps Media as opposed to it being Funkmaster MMA or Funkmaster Weekly Scraps. I don't know. Something like that to make it easy for the fans to find. Okay. But that's what we want to do. Kind of like how Will Harris goes around, documents all these people, and we could just make like a separate playlist. Or we should just build up the Weekly Scraps Media and just keep it separate. And then my page is all about
your stuff,
my stuff, my vlogs and podcasts.
Yeah, I think that's better.
Yeah, but the only thing is like for Vola stuff, if I had put it on my channel, I feel like the subscribers would have gotten the notifications. So it's like if a tree falls in the woods and no one's there around to hear it, does it make a sound?
YouTube is growing. Like I get notifications for stuff that I don't even follow anymore. So like,
yeah,
it'll say like channels that people that follow Sugar also watch this.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it maybe would have been better or whatever, but I feel like they would see it regardless. I don't know if they follow your Funk Master page and you post it on Weekly Scraps, and it should make its way to the same people, I guess. I don't know.
I hope so.
I hope so.
You guys don't know what that is. It's from Kodak Black on the Breakfast Club. So you want love, Kodak? I hope so. That was so funny. He's a character too, man.
Did the whole interview in a ski mask.
Yeah, he made them wear ski masks.
Oh yeah.
That was the funny. I was like, yeah, he's got these guys wearing ski masks on the Breakfast Club because he came in a ski mask. But yeah, I forgot where we even got off. But yeah, we're gonna get into the fights. I haven't really been training too much. I actually hit pads yesterday. No, Monday. Today's Wednesday. Yeah, I hit pads on Monday with Steve, but actually I didn't hit pads. I lied. We moved around for 25 minutes because my ankle's still swollen, man. It's a balloon. My foot is a balloon. Conor McGregor. On the fight. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, I look like I got unscathed,
kicking?
But yeah, kicking the shit out of TJ. And they were proper kicks. They weren't like messed up kicks where I kicked like his elbow or something like that. At least I don't think so. When I watched it, they looked like proper kicks.
Proper.
Real proper thing, you know? So, also a Jamaican brethren. Is it me?
Is it me? I thought I had a Funk shirt, but whatever. Go ahead.
Yeah, so what was it? Yeah, so my ankle's still swollen, so we did that, and on my thumb is still jacked up. I didn't get x-rays on it because I figured it was the same thing I did in Chicago, where I had the splint on it. But this one was a lot worse because I hit him the first time on the ground, and I just threw this sideways punch, and I felt it instantly. Like it's like, you know, was it?
Would you land that on him?
Well, on the ground and pound. So it's like somewhere on his skull. So as I hit him, it felt like my body went red like a video game, just like, like, you know, when you get shot and it's like
KO mode.
Yeah, like that, or like is it like Grand Theft Auto?
Oh, and it's like wasted.
Yeah, like but before that, but it's like Call of Duty. Maybe when you get shot and it like flashes red. Yeah. So I hit him and it flashed red, like my whole face and body just went red. Because it was like giving me that alert, like, yo, bro, what are you doing? You're doing this dumb shit again. I punched him sideways. I was like, yeah, that actually hurt, and I'm going to feel that tomorrow. So then I started turning my punches over. Because in the moment, you're just like, I just want to
kill him.
Fool this nigga.
Tech lick.
Tech lick, why? Tech lick. Pause. But
lick means hit.
Yeah, not them type of lick there.
Yeah.
So yeah, my thumb's a little jacked up still swollen. I don't know if the viewers are going to be able to see this. But this is from the Pedro Munoz fight. It's scarred down, but look at the knuckle is. I tore the ligament, partial tear. And then this one, I did pretty much the same thing. I don't even need to get an x-ray to know. Not even an x-ray, an MRI to know. It's like, I'm not even going to waste time. Just strengthen it. It's not completely torn. I can still use it, but it fucking hurts. So I can't hit pads. So he did one pad and one noodle. But this on Monday, we just moved around. So I was able to place my punches because it's not like a high-intensity sparring session kind of thing.
And when did you start fighting?
Fighting? My sophomore year in college, I trained for about a month. And then that summer, I went pro after my birthday. So 20 years old when I was 20.
33 now.
33.
So how do you feel like about somebody like Yoel Romero? Started at what? 30 something?
He started late, man. Really late.
Like, I don't know how people do that. Because we was in Abu Dhabi and we was wrestling around.
Yeah.
Your cameraman, Jake, tossed me around a couple times. And my toe has not recovered yet. Seriously, like, I think I need to get it x-rayed now. Because I'm like, it'll go away. It'll eventually heal itself. But I'm just like, it's still like stiff. I'm like, what the hell did I do? And you guys do this.
Yo. Yeah, people are just like,
all the time.
You're not hurt. Just get back in there.
That's funny. From their couch.
Yeah, from the couch. I'm like,
eating a bag of Cheetos.
You guys have no idea what it takes, man. No idea. There's other people who are like, well, the warriors are the ones that get back in there. I'm like, yeah, and they're also the ones that are crippled. And then you go, you were fun to watch.
Yeah.
You were fun to watch. Yeah. Thank you for doing everything you did for us.
You know what compliment I hate is like, this guy's tough. Like, I don't want to hear that about me.
Exactly.
I don't want to hear this guy's tough. He can eat shots. Like, no, that's not what I want to hear. Like, you got heart, kid. That means you got heart. That means you could eat.
You got your ass whipped.
Yeah, you got heart, kid. Nah.
I ain't trying to hear all that and have all those type of compliments. Nah, you can keep that to yourself. That is a fact. I always said stuff like that, man. Like people get mad because I feel like they want to see me get into these
banged,
get banged up, so they can be like, he got it, he tough.
Yeah,
I'm like, no, man, fuck out of here. If you want to see that, you got to earn that shit.
Ancient Roman times, man. You want to see fight to the death.
For real.
You want to go get you going against a lion or something, man.
Not everybody. Like, I got some viewers out here who, like, they're smart. They're like, yo, keep fighting the way you're fighting. You're smart, intelligent.
Just win.
And just win.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's the name of the game at the end of the day, winning. That's why I do like Henry Cejudo, because he's at least intelligent in that regards.
Sometimes.
But he did break down Michael Chandler's fight. Yeah. And that was a high-stakes fight where I felt like it was very pivotal for both their careers. And there was opportunity for Chandler to win that fight. And I like Poirier. I'm not trying to, like, throw shade at him whatsoever. But when you look at it on paper, you would think that if Chandler used the wrestling skills that he actually possesses, that he would have an edge just in controlling time. It might have been a more boring fight.
Yes.
But he could have controlled time and 8 clock and won a very strategical fight. Not saying Poirier would just chill and let him do whatever he wants. But he has the edge where if he kept grinding, and we know he has cardio for days, for 3 rounds, that's different than a 5-round fight where Poirier has more time to knock him out. Yeah. So he was breaking it down. He was like, Chandler always wants to entertain. He's like, that's all fun, but at the end of the day, the only thing that matters, and this is from Henry Cejudo on his podcast or wherever it is that he was doing that, and he was saying, the only thing that matters are the W's, man. Like, that's the most important thing, the gold. Mm-hmm. And I agree with that 100% because you want the real money. You want to get the pay-per-view points. You want to increase your flat pay. Even the UFC brass will say, like, you got to win fights. They'll say it's about entertaining, too. You could become a fan favorite, be like Nate Diaz. But Nate Diaz has been in the game for so long. Yeah. And he was winning. He did get a chance to fight for the belt. And he came up short. So he's been one of those guys who's been up and down. But he's been on a long wave. So when he had that Conor McGregor moment, it exploded. So not everyone gets that lucky break. Like, just keep staying the course, man. You might get there one day, slugger. And the fans might be wanting to tune in to watch you fight. It doesn't quite work like that for everybody. Look how many guys come in and out through the UFC. Because it's easier to get here, harder to stay here. And even harder to string together multiple wins. Because that's the only way your fight pay really increases. In the beginning.
Well, he just came off of that crazy front kick.
Who's that? Oh, Chandler.
Yeah, so could he afford to lose this fight? I guess, to me, you know what I mean?
I guess so.
Yeah, like he could have, but I was saying that before we put the cameras on. If he had fought for points, I don't see how, no shade to Poirier also, I don't see how Poirier could have won, because he
could have knocked him out, but easier said than done.
Yeah.
Against a guy who's wrestling you to death.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like Poirier only got to touch him as much because Chandler engaged into that type of fight.
He did get tired, though. Chandler got tired. Yeah. I think that second round, after being busted up, because he took him down in the first round too, right?
I believe so, yes.
And then Poirier got up and then put it on him. Yeah. And that's the dangerous game about grappling. Yeah, everyone wants to grapple until you start grappling. Your arms go from, like, feeling good. You got all this pop in your punches, and then they just drop. And you're like, yo. You feel like you're swinging these hammers on your hands, and not in a good way. Like, you're not hitting someone with the hammer. Your arms just feel super heavy, like a sandbag, I guess.
I always wonder what's worse, like the person defending or the person on the offensive when it comes to grappling. Like, who's getting more tired? The person trying to get up or the person that's holding you down?
Now, Kevin's been in the gym. He's got to watch a bunch of my sparring sessions, so he knows how, like, we go in the trenches and we, like, really, really get after it in those sparring rounds with, like, myself, Marab, Dennis, those round robins, and how crazy they can get and the intensity. So with the wrestling, it always depends. It's like, if I'm engaging in the wrestling department and I'm squeezing to try to get you down on the ground, and then you get right back up and I'm squeezing to maintain control of your legs, and I try to take you back down and I lift, or I'm grunting and you're hooking my leg and I can't lift the way I want to lift and I've got to squeeze multiple times, and then maybe I get you down for like 5 seconds or 10, then you get back up. Mm-hmm. You're not squeezing anything. So yeah, it might be exhausting for you to stand up a little bit, but it's going to be more exhausting and taxing for the guy who's working more in that position. That's why whenever guys are in the clinch, I always tell them, like, relax. Don't overexert your energy, because the guy who's looking for the takedown, if it's not a clean takedown, he's going to have to use a tremendous amount of energy in order to get that takedown. And for his efforts, if he doesn't get it, you piece him up. You don't let him get anything for free. So as soon as you disengage in that clinch, attack that man, because that man was just squeezing, clinching, grimacing, and if he wasn't just leaning with his body weight, if he was gripping and all that shit, man, go get him. Because he's going to be a little fatigued.
Yeah, that mental plays a big part. Because you tell him, like, yeah, just relax. It's like, how can I relax, man? This guy's got his meat hooks around me. But
you see, like Kelvin.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how many times you actually watch him spar.
Your brother.
Yeah. My brother Kelvin. And then actually watch his fights. He'll grapple. And then he'll say, like if he loses or he wins, he'll be like, I just feel so tired, man. I don't understand.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because you go so crazy in these grappling exchanges to get the guy down on the ground, and then you don't pace yourself. There's literally like, he shoots out like a fucking racehorse in a 200-yard sprint. 200-meter sprint. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, that's not sustainable, bro. Mm-hmm. Not in 15 minutes, not even in a 9-minute fight. You're going to get tired. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think for him, it just really depends. Like, if he was, like, taking him down or circling and striking with him and then taking him down at the end of the round, icing the round like that, that's a smart path to victory. But, again, you're talking about Dustin Poirier, who could have easily picked him apart little by little by little, and then eventually, as the fight is getting ready to close in that round, we don't know how much damage he would have actually taken. So I think that third round, Chandler was really exhausted from all those grappling exchanges. When he slammed him with that last takedown, he got reversed. And and I think it was because the mental fatigue, the physical fatigue, and the technique. As they say, once you get tired, technique starts to go out the window.
Yeah.
And sometimes your judgment goes out the window as well. But yeah, that's that. What was it? So we got, what were we talking about before that? I don't even know. Something originally about grappling. So it's like, yeah, whoever gets tired, it really just depends. You'll see the guy who's trying to defend the takedown, squeezing and grunting and all kinds of crazy shit.
We were talking about entertainers and stuff like that, and how
yes, one
banging
thing
around and not want to get hit and stuff like that, or going into we're talking about that, and then you brought up Chandler, how that's what he wants to do in his fights and stuff like that.
And I try to explain, I do hope people understand, like, in order for our pay rate, like when I first started and I got in at 8-8, like the pay rate only goes up if you win. If I were to lose that fight, I got half my show money, half my win money. Well, not win money because I didn't win. I got only my show money, and I didn't get the other half. And then my next fight is at the same pay rate, so it doesn't go up. So I can essentially just keep making 8-8 and just get cut and be done. But if you win, it goes up, and then I went from 8 to 10 to 10 to 12. And then I had the last fight on my contract because I thought I was going, man, the UFC loves me. They're going to give me a big pay bump. No. Not really. Yeah, so it is what it is. You know, you stay the course. You keep winning. At the end of the day, the name of the game is winning. You do want to entertain to some degree because you do want the fans to care, because if the fans don't care about you, the UFC is going to be like, well, why do we care to keep you around if the fans don't give a shit? You know? Unless they just like you as a person, kind of thing.
Is there anybody like that?
There's a couple. I mean, like, you got like Kevin Holland, but Kevin Holland could fight.
Yes.
He's been winning fights, so it's a little bit different for him. But we got this main event. What's this, UFC 64 or 65? I think this is 65. UFC Vegas 65. But we got Derrick Lewis taking on Spivac. Serghei Spivac, who's been on a tear of late. Spivac, he's 15-3, won his last two by finishes, ground and pound. Coming into his own. He lost to Aspinall, but before that, he won 3 in a row. Tom Aspinall is a beast. These are some big boys, man.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, what's going to happen with Lewis, because I think he's at that crossroads of a fight right now, because if he loses this, there'll be his third loss in a row. He lost to Pavlovich, Tuivasa, both by finishes. He knocked out Dawkins, and before that, he lost to Cyril Gane for the interim world title.
Some tough people.
Yeah, and before that, he was on a 4-fight win streak. You know, it's always interesting once, because his age, that's the other thing, he's 37. When people lose 2 in a row, it's like all the faith goes out of the window for some reason. That's just the way the game is. It's weird. Sometimes you're winning and people are like, oh my God, I can't wait to see what's next for you. You lose one, like, ooh, I don't know if there's anything else you could do, my man. You lose another one, it's like, maybe you should hang it up. So I don't know where he's at mentally. Hopefully he's still in a good place. I like Lewis. Spivac is 27 though, the polar bear. I don't know what you think.
I don't think who has he beat?
Spivac?
He's more of a striker, but he's been winning with the ground and pound.
Yeah, he's more of a grappler. Good,
Oh, yeah?
I think he's got good judo or sambo, one of the two.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, Augusto Sakai, he beat him. Who's a tough? Actually, Sakai's been on 4 or 5 losing streak. Jeez, what am I talking about? I mean, Sakai was on a
that
1,
was to get ranked.
2, 3, 4, 5. He was on a 6-fight winning streak before Sakai, and then lost 4 in a row. That's what I'm saying about this game. It's so crazy.
And you just keep going.
And then you're just like, I'm gonna get the next one. No, I'm gonna get the next one. And then you don't get the next one. You turn back and you look behind you and you're like, yeah, I stacked up mad L's, bro. I could have probably got out around this exit right here and found a little detour. That shit crazy. That shit really crazy, man. I hope I'm not that guy.
Yeah, nah.
It might take me 2, maybe 3. I'm just like, all right, guys, it's been fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for the cheese. I'll smell you later.
I got faith in Derrick for this one. I do. Because if grappling is his only strength, then I don't see him taking him unless it's to the. I guess it goes past the second round. I don't see him taking him down that easily. Sergei. You see what he done to
He's
Mr.
more
Blades.
Yeah, but Curtis is more of like a traditional wrestler, like shoots in, where Sergei's more like I'll clinch you up and look for foot sweeps and stuff like that.
And trips.
And so he's better in the clinch situation where sometimes Lewis will find himself backing up and he'll be on the cage and give these guys opportunities to tie him up. I'm just like, bro, get off the cage and swing them bungalows, boy.
I mean, he does. I feel like sometimes he'll trick you into like thinking that you got him or something like that. You got him hurt, so you could pounce on him, and then he throws these wild uppercuts and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
You seen that with what's his face, TWS or whatever his name is, but you know he came through with that freaking elbow.
Oh yeah, off the cage, man. That was fucking filthy. And then Tuivasa had a really good fight with Serghei. That was pretty competitive until obviously it wasn't. But that's how sometimes the fight game goes. Like you're in there, and then one shot changes the entire.
Yeah, that was a good back and forth for a little.
But so, are you betting on this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the plus. You know, because there's money to be made there.
Yeah,
I think
so it's got that puncher's chance.
Sergei is minus 220. Yeah, I'm not counting thing out yet, especially coming off of losses. You don't know what that does. Like you come off a loss, you might come back even harder sometimes, or you might be discredited. I don't know. I think somebody like that coming off of 2 losses, especially what was the other? Who did he fight? And he thought it was an early stoppage.
Who is it? Hold on. Who's it? Lewis? He thought it was an early stoppage?
Yes.
Serghei?
Sergei Pavlovich.
Oh, the last one.
Yes.
Yes. I mean,
and
Pavlovich went dumb, yo. He went stupid, bro.
Yeah, ballistic barrage.
Where's that barrage? He looked like Wolverine in this. Like, I was like, damn, this is like a straight up Tim Sylvia like bar brawl moment.
Yeah, and he's a grappler or whatever, and I would like to see that fight going a little bit further. He dropped, but he got right back up, and then referee already called it. So and that's a number 5 guy. This guy Sergei is fucking number 14. I don't know if he's fought. This is gonna be his toughest fight. I'm surprised that he's this much of a favorite.
I don't know if the rankings on here is actually accurate.
No, I think he's 12 now.
It says 12 on here, but I don't know if this is like according to the UFC's rankings.
Yeah, I think he's stepping in there with a big dog.
I don't know, man. I always lean towards the side of the grappler.
Yeah.
Because once the fight gets on the ground, and if you don't have good grappling, it's just like, what are you going to do? Like, you literally need to knock the guy out to win the fight most of the time. You could probably win a decision, too, if the guy's grappling isn't all the way up to par. But I feel like Sergei's gotten better.
Yeah.
That's the difficult part. And I train with Sergei sometimes, like in the same gym. Sometimes I see him at the PI. He no longer really trains at Extreme Couture from what I understand. But I'll see him at the PI. Him, Latifi, Ilir. those guys all train together. So I'm just like, with all that, and then I got my guy Derrick Lewis. He's a homie as well. This is why I kind of hate the fight game, because I feel like I'm in a big ass high school. It's like I'm cool with you, but y'all beefing. Yeah. I'm in the middle. I'm the referee. I'm just like, nah, son, keep it legal. Yeah, it gets weird, man. It gets real mixy and weird, really quick. Like, none of them are like my boys. Yeah. But I talk to them. I'm just like, I feel like a friend that's being torn apart. That's why I try not to pick, because.
Well, I don't know him. Yeah. I never met him, so I'm going to go with Derrick. Forget you, Serghei.
I respect it. We got Iwan Cutelaba versus Kennedy. Say that last name for me. I'm going to put the onus on you today.
I just watched this fight, too. It's like Nzechukwu or something like that.
Nzechukwu?
Just call him N-Dog.
Yeah, Nzechukwu.
Call him Mr. N.
Mr. Navaji. Cutelaba. He lost 2 in a row. Johnny Walker, Ryan Spann. Before that, he beat Devin Clark. Nzechukwu beat Roberson. Finished him elbows from back mount. Wow. And then he lost to Nugaramu and Daun Jung. I don't know. Kennedy's like this tall, lanky motherfucker. I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah, I seen his fights.
The afro.
I wish he was a little more. He's a wrestler.
He's 6'5". Is he?
Definitely not a striker. I think his background is wrestling.
I did not know that.
Don't quote me, boy, because I ain't said. It's like, no.
He's got 83-inch reach, though. 6'5". Cutelaba is a little bit shorter. He's 28. He's 6'1" with the 75-inch reach. Cutelaba is just mean, though. He mean mugs from the weigh-ins to the face-off. And then in the cage, he's mugging you as well. He's intense. He's just intensity. I just don't know where his real strength is. Like I don't know where he's a specialist in.
Oh, he's not a wrestler. Take that back. Sorry. He just started MMA.
I don't know if he's a wrestler.
He just started MMA.
He just kind of started like, yo, you got you got a good frame for this. You could probably do some of this shit. Yeah, Cutelaba, I'm not sure what his exact strength is. If it's like boxing or grappling. I feel like his grappling is his best thing.
Yeah. Kennedy he seems gun shy. So if he could be more on the attack, on the offense. I mean, he's already a favorite, I guess, because of his reach and his power. But if he could be on the offensive and attack a little bit more, I don't see him losing either.
I feel like he doesn't have the speed. Like he's he's got the frame of like an Izzy, but he's like a lot slower with like the snappiness. Like he doesn't have those fast twitch muscles that you would think. Like if you just looked at him, you'd be like you pick a lineup your first day in gym class. We're playing basketball today because it's the first day of gym back at Unidale, and everyone's on the line. You just looking down the road. You're like, I'm definitely taking him. And then you see him play ball, and he's like moving mad slow. And you're like, yo, bro, it's not what I thought you had in the tank. That's kind of the way I categorize his speed. So I think Cutelaba is going to have the edge in that. But I think if Nzechukwu can get him down, I hope I'm not saying. I'm just calling him Kennedy, bro. If Kennedy can take him down first, I think it could be an issue for Cutelaba because we saw him display some good grappling in that last one over Carl Roberson, who isn't really a grappler at all. Yeah. That's Roberson's like weakness. But Roberson would knock you to he would send your brain to the Neptunes. Like the guy can crack. Yeah. But Cutelaba, if he can take him down first and grind out a guy like Kennedy, but I don't know, man. This is a tough fight. Like these are the fights that I'm so torn on because I don't know who to bet. Like if I were betting, I wouldn't know who to bet on. I don't bet on fights, guys.
Let's say
shout out G Fuel, get 20% off. Use my promo code aljo. gfuel.com.
It hasn't been a good year for Nigerians, you know.
You just had to do it.
It hasn't been a good year for Nigerians. Hopefully that hasn't got to Kennedy. Hopefully he's rubbed some vibranium on the knuckles this weekend.
Some vibranium. Yeah.
Hopefully this is not the third upset of the year.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm like, yeah. And this is the co-main event. This card is kind of like, but it does have some fun names on here. Muslim Salikov versus Andre Fialho. That should be a really fun one. They do have that heavyweight guy fighting Chase Sherman. I just skipped over him. Acosta, Cortez Acosta. He was in the Contender Series.
Yeah, I got Chase on that one.
Yeah?
Yeah. They're both strikers. I just think Chase got the speed. So if it's coming down to a brawl, I think Waldo's got the better chin, but Chase is faster.
That's what I was looking at, the chin. I just don't know. Like when you get to that point where you start talking about the chin as a talking point at the heavyweight division, it makes it really tough for me to pick someone who has like the iffier side. But Chase has looked good coming back to the UFC. And then he did drop a bunch. He lost to Arlovsky, Parker, Collier, Romanov.
Well, they both...
I said Parker. Yeah, Parker Porter.
They both just fought the same person last time, and Chase put him out where Waldo went to decision.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't really say much, but,
But he's a prospect coming off the Contender Series. I think the UFC is setting this fight up for Cortez Acosta to win. That's what I think.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think they think Chase is probably done, and this would be a good name for him to get a win over. But again, like you said, Chase has a speed advantage in the boxing. Sometimes he tends to get hit a little too much, and that could be the difference. And maybe if I'm Acosta, I'm looking to play who drops first. It's kind of similar to the way Holloway fought Jose Aldo.
Yeah.
Like Aldo was out being a little bit more technical than him and landing better shots. And then Holloway just said, you know what? Flipped the switch and said, let's see who drops first. Put the pressure on him and just kept slipping punches in the boxing range, covering up, and then dropping some hammers on Aldo. Aldo would connect, but then like Holloway could take the shots, and then once Holloway landed, bing, bong, dropped him with the 1-2, and I was like, yeah. If that was the fight, like if you fought him like that, that's the way to beat a guy like Jose Aldo. You're not gonna out technique him where he's so fast and explosive, and he could touch you up and get out of there, kind of thing.
Dude was fast.
He was kind of lighting him up before that. It was like, I don't want to say it wasn't like one-sided, but you could tell Aldo was winning that fight, but he was slowing down, and then Holloway said, all right, it's time to just go. Let's gas pedal this motherfucker, and that's exactly what he did. So I kind of could see that happening here with Acosta. That's what I would look to do if I'm breaking this down. Like I'm looking at my skill set, like he might be better if I try to go technique for technique with him. So let's see who's more durable. Sometimes that's what you gotta do. Bite down on that mouthpiece and go. I wouldn't know anything about that though.
Yeah, I was about to say. Sometimes what you gotta do. Just not me though.
Yeah. But in case you're wondering,
right?
I mean, it speaks for itself.
The results lie.
For all the haters out there. Henry. And then we were talking about the Salikov-Fialho fight. Both of these guys are fun fighters to watch. They're both strikers. Really good guys. Super talented. Salikov was winning the fight against Li Jingliang, then got knocked out. Fialho was doing good against Jake Matthews until Jake Matthews knocked him out. So both coming off of a loss. This is one of those matchups the UFC does. They're like, all right, you lost your last one. You lost your last one. All right.
Yeah.
Let's figure it out. Who's going to progress, who's going to go down the ladder, and then whoever's on a 2-fight losing streak, they typically try to match those guys up as well. Like that's usually the typical pattern that the UFC tends to follow.
Who would you pick on? I don't know how to pick. I think Muslim's a favorite, but I think his chin
Fialho's a hammer though.
Yeah, his chin is weak. I think Muslim's chin is kind of weak, so it's like if he could connect, it'd be early night. But
you call him Muslim just because he's Muslim?
Is it Muslim? I'm like, did I say it right? Yeah, it is. Like, did I say it? Oh,
yeah.
I was like, damn, I blew that.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards Salikov, if I'm being honest here.
If he could grab him.
He's more of a striker. He's not really a grappler, yeah. He's got fast hands.
What's this? The Gagastani?
Shan Shao. So his foundation style is Shan Shao.
Oh, what is that, Chinese?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just trying to think what other fun fights are on this card. I mean, Danny Roberts versus Jack Mandela. That should be a barn burner. Mandela is pretty fucking good, man.
I think this is this is the easiest fight of the night, honestly.
Why?
Danny Roberts' last fight.
It was tough, right? That was a tough one.
Against a 40-something-year-old and...
Chinaldo.
Yeah, it was rocking him. Guy hit his reset button a few times.
Yeah. But yo, he's kind of a savage though, man. Like if you look at Chinaldo's 44, bro.
If I saw him somewhere, I'd be like, get away from me, old man. Not whoop your ass, old man.
Then you find out real quick.
Nah, he's like the dad you call when you have trouble at school.
Well, he beat Danny Roberts.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like,
and Randy Brown just fought him, and he came back and won that third round against Randy Brown. And that second round was kind of close with Randy Brown, and people weren't sure which way that fight was going to go. Randy Brown against Trinaldo, yeah. He lost to Muslim Salikov by decision as well.
Yeah, I wish I need to see that one.
And he used to fight at 150. He moved up 155. He bumped up to 170. He fought Paul Felder, beat him. He lost to Kevin Lee. He beat Jim Miller. He lost to James Vick, which is interesting. He beat Bobby Green. Yeah, he beat some good guys.
Trinaldo.
Mm-hmm. He lost to my boy Chiesa, though. But yeah, he went up to 170 after Salikov lost that one, beat Dwight Graham, beat Danny Roberts, and then lost to Randy Brown. I don't know. This is a tough one. I don't know which way I'm leaning on this, but I feel like Mandela might be coming for those cheeks, man.
Yeah, he got to be careful, though.
He's a little more durable, I think.
Yeah. He's, what is he, 26?
Is he 26?
Yeah, 26.
What's Roberts?
35.
Yeah, man, I hate it when it's like that, because then it's like when you beat someone, it's like, damn, well, you beat the older version. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it kind of sucks. It's kind of like the Frankie Edgar thing. Like you beat an older version of Frankie Edgar. So for me, it's like, yeah, you beat Frankie, but you ain't beat Frankie though, man. You ain't beat Frankie. Come on, man. Like stop acting like that. Yeah. Don't be parading around acting like you beat the guy. Like you beat the shell of the guy.
Like Jan and Uriah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly that. Like some people are hyping that up and like, and then he got the title shot for that. Bro, don't get me started on this, man. Don't get me started on this shit. I come for all the smoke.
How you feel about? I kind of feel the same way. I don't know with Marlon and Henry. I don't know.
I felt like I knew that about Marlon.
Yeah.
And I felt like when I fought him, I was just like, obviously he knocked me the fuck out. Sent my brains to somewhere on the Neptunes. I finally found them and I was able to retrieve them. All right, cool. So we progressed after that. We learned from that. But going into the fight, I felt like fighting Marlon Moraes. I thought like there was no chance in hell this motherfucker beats me. I was like, he's going to get tired and I don't think he has a chin. And then I feel like I was right, but I didn't get to show that shit like at all. Like not even a little bit. I had the moments with the triangle choke and switching into the arm bar, and then he got up and then I was like, I'm about to get him. And then as soon as I got up, I dived in on the shot and got lights out. Woke up in the hospital. Like, I mean, obviously I woke up before that, but then I came to my senses, like right now, like consciously talking to you in the hospital where I saw my brother Troy, and then I asked him like, damn, bro, what happened? And then he was just like, yo, man, you asked me like 20 times what happened. And I'm like, no, I swear I'm here this time. Like now I'm here. Yeah. Like I'm really here. Like I'm in my body now. Yeah. Like I was like
me asking before.
Yeah, like you know, like the meme they did with Anthony Joshua where he got knocked up by Ruiz, and then he was a ghost. He disappeared. He packed his luggage, and then he went up the escalator, got on the plane, and he took off. That was me when Marlon Moraes knocked me out. That was me, 100% me. And I got back and I came back from my trip and I was in the hospital. I was like, okay, I went on my trip back home and I came back and I flew back to California. So what I'm saying is I wanted to be that guy to expose him because everyone was riding that train. Yeah. And I was like, yo, y'all riding this man's D so freaking hard. And this guy has holes. He has holes but I didn't get to show him. But so when Henry beat him, I'm like, kudos to you, but I just like I give you props because he did knock out 3 guys in a row, finished 3 guys in a row, and all in the first round. So I was like, all right, there got to be props given. Yeah. But then even when he fought Sunsao the first time he came in, Sunsao touched him and he put him on pause. Like it wasn't even the craziest punch, but he touched him and Marlon froze like. Just moving like this, shuffling, and then the bell rung. And I was like, wow, this guy got saved by the bell. I'm like, this isn't the guy who they say he is. Like, yeah, he's dangerous. Anyone is dangerous who can swing a proper punch and get their body weight behind it. Like, of course, like, let's call it what it is. Like, that's why we have a puncher's chance. Yeah. So, yeah, that's why, just whatever, man. But Henry took his lickings and then survived long enough to knock him out.
Henry got a thick skull, man.
Henry's got a thick skull. But most of those shots that Henry got hit with were like leg kicks.
I don't remember. I remember he took some shots though, and then he was like, you know what?
I mean, he did hit him a couple times, but he had like some good defense. It wasn't like, oh, I got rocked cleanly and then sat down. Because if he got rocked cleanly and he didn't drop, I'd be like, Henry's a problem. Mm-hmm. This guy's got, like you said, he's got a block head. You can hit this guy with anything, he ain't going away. But yeah, he's stuck in that. That's the only thing I'm saying about this is like the older guy versus the new guy. Usually the newer guy is more durable, especially if they're training the right way and not like getting their head beaten all the time in training and in fights and taking the right amount of time off after a fight or just taking minimal damage. Yeah. A guy like Danny Roberts, like these guys who are all strikers, their career windows are a lot shorter than the guys who come in and grapple. Uriah Faber, he came back and fought Piotr Yan at 42. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like you see shit like that. You see Frank Diego who's fighting until he's 40. And he was fighting at 155, so he's fighting bigger guys who's cracking him. Yeah. And then who else? Like just grapplers in general who just survive like the game much longer. I would say even myself, I've had a long career because of my grappling. Marab has a long career because of his grappling. Doesn't take a lot of shots or a lot of damage. But the guys who tend to just sit and strike, the chin goes away a lot faster.
Jones coming back.
Jones. He's going to be just as durable because one, a long-ass layoff, long break. Yeah. And on top of that, he grapples everyone. And he's been in like, one real war and then 2 like competitive scraps with Gustafsson the first one and then Dominic Reyes the second one, which was competitive, but it wasn't like a war like the Gustafsson fight. That first one was insane. Look, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm talking about grapplers sustaining their career,
yeah, I think that's but people don't really like that. I might have to shave my mustache again.
I mean, you got Jose Aldo was an argument striker that
but he was just fooding everybody. Everybody, he was just like food.
You think Max is on his? Well, what about Max and like
Max has been on a long break.
Poirier,
much needed break.
They had a long stretch.
They did.
And still killing it.
But I'm going to say I don't know if those guys train the same way that they did when they were younger, like sparring all the time, senseless sparring.
Max doesn't spar anymore, apparently.
Max apparently doesn't spar anymore. That gives him some time. And I know there was an issue when he was like talking and they were like, oh, he's slurring his words from like the weight cut to the wars that he was in. I mean, you watch that fight with him and Poirier, that was nuts. The rematch. Mm-hmm. That was a crazy. Did you watch that one?
Yeah.
That was a crazy ass fight. It was like, how many times can your brain handle that type of damage? Like your brain is probably bleeding in there.
That was bad.
Yeah.
Because he went up too, right? Thinking that he could.
To 55.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think Khabib was suspended. Mm-hmm. MMA is just crazy, bro.
He was like, go back to your weight class. Go back to your weight class. Save for you. You got nothing over here for you.
Well, they fought at 45.
Mm-hmm. When he went as
his debut. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know, man. They at 55 now. This might be a little different. I think Holloway might win this one.
Yeah, I thought so too. But man,
Poirier's a dog, bro.
Always surprises me. Always.
Poirier?
Yeah, always.
You know what it is?
I thought Conor was gonna run through him, beat him twice, back to back. I was like, damn, this guy's a problem.
Nah, he is. Like I see Poirier, and I feel like what people look at him, like the outside viewer who aren't like Diamond fans, they look at him, they think like he doesn't have the skill set to win, And then I'm like, but I always go based on what? I feel like he's very popular, right? I would say he's very popular.
I don't know.
But he's always counted out.
To fight fans, he's popular. But
yeah.
Like, you know, somebody like Conor's like known to everybody. I feel like only fighters know Dustin.
Yeah, that's true. I could agree with that.
You know, Henry's also like popular to everybody, but I don't know. Who else is like a fighter's favorite, I guess?
The Diaz's?
Yeah. I don't think they're that big outside of. Yeah, so you could say like
they're big outside, man. Yeah.
So I mean, like, who's just famous? Like, I would say like you. Like you're more just like fighters know you, but outside of that, like you could just go to the mall and be fine. You know, you don't need security and shit like that. Like,
bro, Dubai.
Yeah.
Nah,
they know.
I put a mask on, bro.
You put the sheet.
Yeah, and even then, I hate the mask, so I put it under my nose, and then I started getting spotted, and I just started to like just duck my head and walk fast. And Becca's like, "See, wear your mask properly." I'm like, "This is actually crazy that I can't." It was way different there than it is here in the States. I will say that.
Wow.
But being here, if they know, it's a lot worse. But I think after this last fight. Okay. I think before the TJ fight, I could be like, I definitely understand what you're saying. But yeah, I think it just depends. And we're also in New York, man. Motherfuckers don't be caring. Like we got the Knicks.
Yeah, we got.
And they're kind of cheeks, but I don't know if they're kind of cheeks.
Kind of cheeks is funny. It's like that partly cheeks.
The parted cheeks. Yo. What's wrong with me?
Partly cheeks.
But yeah, I think the popularity here is just different. Like we have so much other things to care about. Like, oh, you fight? All right, I'm gonna go watch this basketball game.
Yeah,
because I got money riding on this shit.
I would have thought that beating Conor would have skyrocketed him, but I feel like he's still like under the radar a little bit.
Well, I think the diehard Conor fans are still like, "Oh, you got lucky."
That's crazy.
Well, I'm kind of in that void of like, I'm the luckiest champ. I'm like, it's like the harder I train, the luckier I get for some reason.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because the first one was clearly rocked him.
Yeah.
The second one, maybe you could argue like his leg gave out, whatever, but that's his fault.
Well, he beat him down. He rocked him, beat him down with the leg kicks, took him down with the wrestling. And he systematically beat him down. And then Conor said he was going to come back and make the adjustments, which he did. But he had the fractured injury, shin bone or whatever coming into the fight, which, again, everyone comes into the fight with something. That's why you say any place, anytime, anywhere, because any place, anytime, anywhere. And at that place, at that time, and that location, that's where you fought, and that's where you lost, my man. Like, stop making excuses. Like, we are the ones that decide to get in there, whether or not we can get through what we're dealing with. And
your choice.
We deal with this all the time. I've dealt with this all the time.
But sometimes it's the money, right?
Sometimes it's the money, but you think Conor. A lot
of times it's the money.
But look at you think Conor.
I don't know how much he got paid for that. You know, maybe.
I mean, coming off. No, I mean, it wasn't coming right off, but coming off the boxing fight, I like to think Conor was and the selling of his shares, most of his shares for Proper 12. I don't think he needed the money. I think it's just more so that fighter's mentality that I'm going to get to this fight. I never pull out of fights. Because he always talks about that. I never pull out of a fight yet. All these guys, they pull out. They won't show up. And he was talking about Jose Aldo and all these other guys. This guy won't show up. He doesn't show up to the show. I always make the walk. And I respect that.
Yeah.
Because there's always something that happens in the fight camp. Even though I talk about the first Jan fight. Like, he pulled out of the fight still for unknown reasons. And I would never get clarity on that. So I'm going to always keep talking about that shit. Always. Because people made fun of me. I'm like, I actually had a legitimate injury. Yeah. Coming back from a neck surgery that wasn't yet healed and ready to go. And people gave me shit for that. Oh, you pulled out of the fight. I'm like, yeah, but you guys didn't give him the same energy when he pulled out for no reason. Yeah. Literally no reason.
You're under a big microscope, man.
Yeah. I don't know why. I'm not going to make any assumptions. I don't know. They just don't want to see me win.
We could guess.
They don't want to see the brother on top.
We could guess.
They don't want to see the brother on top. They want to see the brother on top.
We could guess.
Now, I don't know if that's really what it is, but I gotta make jokes about that. But yeah, That's why I always say, like, you make it to the fight based on what you're dealing with. I went through the fight with a partially torn bicep tendon. That could have torn in the fight. It could have rolled up. And then I could have, my whole left arm would have been useless. The same way his shoulder was useless. And then it would have been like, we'd have been even. We'd have been even, bro.
Was his shoulder useless?
So here's my thing with that. And I touched on this before. If he's sparring and he's getting his ass kicked, you're not taking the fight. But if you're sparring and you're winning, and TJ is very competitive, I know for a fact that guy is so competitive to the point where there's no way he's going to put himself in a position where he doesn't think he can win. So if he's getting through those sparring sessions and he's beating up his training partners, he's probably like, if I can beat these guys up and I think they're better than Aljamain, Aljamain striking sucks, it's embarrassing, I'm going to go out there and beat this guy with one arm the same way I knocked out Cody Garbrandt 2 times. And I'm using his words. I'm like talking as if I'm him. I'm going to knock him out the same way I did Cody Garbrandt with 2 blown out shoulders. I'm like, oh, you feeling yourself.
Yeah.
You a munch.
Listen, you know, people think that taking these supplements gives you like the offensive advantage, but it also allows you to take shots better, right?
I would think so, because here's one thing. When he got dropped in that first round, at the end of the first round with Cody Garbrandt, he had a phenomenal recovery coming back into that second round. Looked like nothing ever happened. And they say when you're in good shape, you can take shots better. Like the brain, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So I would even go back to my first Jan fight. Like, Jan hit me with some shit, bro. Like, standing target as if he was hitting pads. Just pop, pop. And I just take like 2 steps back. And I walk back forward. I'm like, I'm going to get you. Even though there's no way I'm going to get this man. Yeah. I'm just like, I'm in zombie mode. So when I see that, I have to wonder, like, if you're on EPO, it gives you an advantage in the cardiovascular department. Exactly. Yeah, that definitely helps you. Now, with the EPO in the Henry Cejudo fight, him going down to 125, I think that actually messed him up going down and dehydrating his body so much to the point where when he recovered, he didn't actually recover like up here. So when he got that one shot that looked like it barely grazed him and he just fell down and Cejudo just chucked him to the side like a little boy. That's how I felt when I fought. I felt like I was fighting a little boy. I was like, yo, dude, you feel so weak. Like when I grabbed him, his leg, and I was just like, ha ha ha. And just flipped him upside down. I was like, is that all you got? This is your king? This?
Yeah.
So I can imagine when he got down for that, that could have been the difference with that. But I don't know. Yeah. I never did shit like that. I did ask him. I wanted to ask him, like how does it feel to be on EPO and not on EPO? Like, do you feel the difference?
I mean, they gave him so much credit for being honest, right? I think that's an honest question.
Like,
you
yeah,
should answer.
Like for someone who's never done it, like what, like how different did you feel from being on it and not being on it? As you know, because he said he wasn't on it the second time, with us fighting. So, like, did he notice a difference? Like,
hey, that would be good. That would be good. Like, you know, a little publicity for him. He could do a little series about being on it and off of it. I'd want to hear that story.
I would, honestly. So TJ, if you're listening, probably not. Let us know if you felt the difference with the PEDs or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did all that off of Jack Mandela and Danny Roberts, huh?
Yeah, because we're talking about old age and damn, that's segued off.
Yeah, I feel like I'm on a Joe Rogan podcast right now.
Fighters.
Jennifer Maia, former title challenger, taking on Marina Moroz. Marina Moroz hasn't fought in a while, man. She hasn't. Oh, she did. I'm bugging. She fought Agapova in March of 2022. But before that, she didn't fight since 2020. Got some traction here.
Did she win?
All right. She won. Marina did. Maya, she lost her last 2. Chukagian, after having a really good fight with Valentina, she beat Jessica Ai. Then she lost to Caitlin Chukagian. And then she lost to Mana Ferro. So we're not going to really talk about that. We got my guy Vince Morales taking on Miles Johns. This is going to be a good fight. Miles Johns got tired, lost to Castaneda in his last one. He is 28 years young. Castaneda choked him out, arm triangle choke in round 3. Ah, man, before that he was on like a knockout streak, like knocking people out left and right, bro.
Who?
Miles Johns, he knocked out Santos round 3. He knocked out Natividad round 3. Oh, and he lost to Bautista flying knee in round 2. So it looked like he was coming into his own. Vince Morales, my boy, he trains out in Syndicate MMA. I train with him a bunch sometimes when I'm down there. He lost to Jonathan Martinez, who just beat Cub Swanson. He's on a 2-fight winning streak. Luke Schmoka and Rodriguez. I saw Jonathan Martinez, right?
Who's that? The guy that beat Cup?
That beat Cub Swanson, Hispanic dude.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like he was sizing me up, man.
Yeah, I don't know how he makes weight.
Yo, Martinez, was you sizing me up, bro? Because I don't know, my dude. I feel like he was sizing me up.
Is he bigger in person? He looks pretty big on the screen. I'm like, this guy's got some thighs on him.
He had a jacket on. Yeah, I feel like we both have like similar build. He's a little taller than I am, I think. I think he's 5'8". Yeah, I think he's 5'8". Let me check.
Got Miles as the favorite.
He is 5'8", yeah. So he trains with Chris Gutierrez and those boys who were down there who just fought, knocked out Frankie Yeager. Mm-hmm. So I forgot where I saw him. I think it was either in the back room, and I said what's up to these guys. I think I said what's up to Mark. I that weekend was a blur, bro, because I was on one like the whole week, just twisted. And I only drink alcohol, guys. I don't do those other like things that people do. Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to have excuses like, oh, my stuff was cut or laced with PEDs.
Mm-hmm. Why take that risk, right?
It's pointless. Useless. Last thing I need to do is get popped for some shit. After I talk so much shit about people.
Somebody,
I'm like, bro.
Damn.
I would get crucified.
Yeah, you just have to hide.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, years. Son. And then I'll be sitting there explaining myself and be like, man, these motherfuckers don't care.
Nobody want to hear that. Even Canelo talking about he had some bad meat.
Bad meat. Over him say he was eating horse meat.
Yeah.
That's why he was these guys be funny, man.
Sure, buddy.
Yeah.
You think there's ways to cheat it though? People cheat it?
Yeah, man. If you got the money, the doctors will help you, man.
Damn.
That's the way to do it. So what they say is the testing is always behind for the new ways to cheat. Like they're always like a step behind. So people find out like new ways. This is what I've been told. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't really follow the shit all that much. I listen to that guy More Plates, More Dates sometimes. And he talks about it.
Who?
He broke
More Plates and Dates.
That's like his page thing.
Oh, okay.
He talked about John Jones. He talked about Usman.
Is that like weightlifting plates he's talking about?
That's just his name.
Oh.
But he lifts. He's like kind of like a bodybuilder. I don't know if he competitively lifts anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it's cool. I mean, he gives like some good insight. He doesn't like actually accuse anybody, but he'll like break it down scientifically.
So why do you think that people are using it?
Yeah, like why you can assume or why it may not be likely. So he kind of plays the fence a little bit, but he'll talk about things that you need to look for and like the trace marks and stuff. I'm just like, man, you just speak English, man, because I don't understand what the hell you talk about. Like, make it in what they say, the normal everyday guy's terminology.
I think that's so unfair, man.
What's that?
Using that stuff, you know what I mean? In a competitive sport like this, like, you could kill somebody, you know what I mean?
100%. I don't know if you watch back in the days, like, that's pretty much what everybody was doing. Like, if you weren't doing it, you were, like, considered, like, dumb.
Yeah.
Like, you were the dummy in the room, not taking it. And people were looking at you like, you're lost. Literally, you're lost.
Yeah, I mean, if everybody else is doing it, I'm not going to go get myself killed.
Yeah. It's a scary game, man. Like, people think it's like, oh, you guys should all be able to do it. I mean, that would be interesting, but it's just it's just the afterwards effect, like 10 years down the line.
Yeah, how about we just all not use it?
Yeah, like what happens to your body 10 years from now after doing all these things that you don't even know what's in it, the long-term side effects, what it's doing to your hormones inside.
Yeah.
It's just scary, man. It's a slippery slope. And I would even argue that maybe TJ's body started falling apart because
he stopped using it.
Because he stopped using some of the stuff, or maybe the usage of some of the stuff caused his body to deteriorate. Because I know some of the stuff causes like.
Well, he had a long career too, right?
Relatively long. I mean, I think 2013 is when he got into Ultimate Fighter House.
He's been getting knocked around.
Not really.
No.
I mean, he's been like putting most guys away. He fought Sunsao twice. He lost the first one in a fight most people thought he won. Then he rematched him at UFC 200. He beat him there. He lost to Dominic Cruz in a close split decision fight.
That was a good fight.
Yeah. So he's had a lot of good fights. He hasn't been in like crazy wars where he's been like dropped multiple times. For the most part, it's been competitive. But the sparring, I know he spars hard. Like, this is just word of mouth. I know he spars hard. I know Al personally sparred with him, Al Quinta. He said I boxed with him, and then he just kept saying, like, one more round. even after they agreed. He said it got to the point where he told him, like, TJ, I don't care what you say. Like, whatever happens this round, I don't care. We're done after this. Like, he had to tell him, like, we're not doing another round. And that was, like, his only way to, like, get out of there. And I think what he was trying to do was, like, maybe because he's on the stuff at the time, he's trying to, like, get a win over him and, like, one-up him by just not getting tired and trying to beat somebody down who's bigger and be like, oh, I got him good that last round. Well, that was round 8. I had no desire to do 8 rounds.
Yeah.
What happened rounds 1 through 4 or 1 through 3 kind of thing. But again, because super competitive, and that's why I respect TJ in that regards, because super competitive mindset, man, you got to be built a little different. Vince Morales and Miles John.
Yeah, we just talking about that. Yeah.
It should be a good fight. Miles John has been knocking guys out left and right. He did lose a not a close one. I don't know if it was really back and forth the way I remember it, but he lost to a tough dude in Castaneda. And then Vince Morales lost. Which one did he lose to?
I didn't get to do.
Oh, Martinez, yeah.
Prelims.
And then he beat Shmoka and Rodriguez.
Shmoka.
So it was a big opportunity for both these guys to get back in the win column. As we both know, like I said, the UFC, when these two guys lose, they tend to match those guys up to see who's going to kind of ascend and climb the ranks. I'm pulling for my boy Vince Morales, so hopefully he goes out there and get it done. Shout out to Syndicate MMA. I think he's got all the tools to win. He's a little bit of a big-ass bantamweight. Like, he's huge for the weight class. Like, if you see Vince Morales, like, I don't even know how the hell he makes, 135. He walks around about 150 pounds soaking wet, and somehow, some way he can make 135. It's crazy. He should be fighting at the welterweight division.
150? What do you walk around with? What do you walk around, 170?
170. Nah, I'm just breaking his balls.
Yeah, I'm about to say 150.
Whenever we see each other, it's like a little inside joke. He goes, "What's up, welterweight?" I'm like, "Yeah, the world's biggest bantamweight, Vince Morales, walking around 150 pounds, 152." And I'm like, "Yeah, I wish I could walk around that. It would make my life a lot easier. Take short notice fights left and right."
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I'm hoping he gets it done. Really nice dude, good guy to have around, great energy all the time in the room. So I'm definitely pulling for him to get the job done. We got another bantamweight fight. Ricky Tercios taking on Kevin Natividad. Oh, Brady Heinstead is back taking on Fernie Garcia. That's who you were talking about. Who's this Bernie guy though? Brady is strong as shit. I grappled with him one time. I was like, oh. Like, it was like a little back and forth. Like, no one really got a better position than the other. Yeah. But he was able to hold me in, like, a relatively neutral position and keep me from moving too much. Like, just being smart. Like, not doing too much that's going to expose him. I was like, well, this isn't very fun. That's one. And two, you're actually really strong. Like, most guys, even if they're just holding that position, I could typically move. But because he's a good grappler, I didn't want to expose too much where if he does pass and get to my back, now I'm in trouble because he's a strong kid and actually big for the weight class. This Fernie guy, he lost his UFC debut to Journey Newson. And then you got Brady.
He's a favorite for that. Definitely
a favorite. He lost a split decision on the Ultimate Fighter finale to Ricky Tercios. But he's a big boy, man. Oh, I forgot Vanessa Demopoulos is fighting. She's fighting Maria.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Maria.
But that's pretty much all I gotta say about those guys. I mean, that's really it, man. There's like there was some other fan questions like these people were asking me. Let's see if I can pull up a couple more. I just be tweeting so much. I'm a tweeter, man. I love to tweet. I hope they don't charge me for my blue check. Cause I'm probably not gonna do it.
Ain't that crazy? $8 a month. Why would you? Anybody can be verified now.
Anybody.
Like, what's the?
So I go like, well, this kind of defeats the purpose of everything.
Yeah. Now you're gonna have a bunch of verified people.
Yeah, I was getting mad DMs because I have none of my notifications on unless it's like a verified person or somebody that I follow. And Twitter. I was getting, on Twitter, and I was getting DMs. I'm like, wait, who are you people? Click that link. So just pick out like 5 questions from the fans, the ones that you think are interesting, and we'll wrap with that, I guess. Say like their at names too. Give them some love. Give them some love.
At Stek Kevin asks, how do you feel about Alex being the second least experienced UFC champ behind Brock? Coincidence, right place, right time, or is he genuinely that good?
I feel like I answered this one last time. I think I did answer this one last time.
Oh, so it's
yeah. This is like kind of a repeat.
Ah.
But there's 80 questions. I think I only answered like 6.
Damn, I don't know what you haven't answered already. I feel like some of these you probably did, though.
I mean, out of 80, I did like 6.
Yeah. I just happened to pick the right one.
Shoot your shot, bro.
I happened to pick the right one the last time. Stylistically, who's the easiest fight for you next?
Who said this?
At Crying Thug.
At Crying Thug.
Got a picture of Rose on the profile picture.
Oh, that's foul. Man, the fans are brutal, man. That's why I say it's like high school, because they just be bullying you. I'm like, damn, bro, I just had a freaking professional fight, and you over here ripping me apart for losing. Trying to entertain you. Easiest stylistic fight. I feel like they all present like their own problems. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Henry is the easiest fight right now. Hear me out.
All right.
I'm gonna paint the picture for you guys. And I'm not trying to disrespect Henry, guys, but I'm gonna paint the picture for you guys.
Just because you say easy doesn't mean it's gonna be easy. It's just
exactly.
easiest out of the others.
Easiest out of the 3.
Yeah.
Not that Henry Cejudo is an easy fight, but out of the 3 between Cheeto, Sugar Sean O'Malley, and Henry Cejudo, I'm gonna paint the picture. Sean O'Malley, tall, almost 6 feet tall. Long reach, longer than mine. I'm 71. I think he's like 74. Kicks very well. Fights well going backwards. Has knocked guys out going backwards. Throws a lot of spinning shit, unorthodox stuff. And even when Jan took him down and slammed him on the ground, he landed like a cat with his 2 hands and got right back up. You know what I mean? It's not like he's getting taken down and getting control. It's not like Jan took him down, got to his back, and dominated him. So people want to disrespect his grappling, but he also went for an armbar in the fight. And it shows he is actually somewhat cognizant in that position, those positions, like understanding what's going on. And other than that, I think he has tricky combinations where he'll feint something and come back with an overhand, or he'll come back with something different. A lot of misdirections.
Yeah. He always fakes the back and then comes over to the right.
Yes.
Fakes a little backspin.
Yep. So he's tricky.
Yeah.
A lot of things to train for, to look out for in terms of preparing for a fight like that. And then you have...
Sometimes I feel like that's his downfall at the same time. He's a little too flashy. Like, you know, all those motions. It's like, all right, bro, I'm not going to fall for it all the time.
Not all the time, but then you still have to respect it. Because the moment you don't, and he throws that shit, you're like, damn, I thought you was just fucking around. You know? Here's how I win. If I close the distance, I take him down, and in transition, I take his back. I've done that to just about every single person I fought.
Yeah.
Okay. Cheeto Vera. Tall. He's a slow starter. Not the fastest hands. Like O'Malley has fast hands, fast kicks. But Cheeto kicks like a mule. He's got really good jiu-jitsu off of his back. And maybe not from back control, because everyone goes, oh, Jose Aldo held his back. That means you'll be able to get to his back. I'm like, well, I got to get to his back. And just because Jose Aldo got to his back doesn't mean I can get to his back. It just depends on the sequence. Like, if he decides to pull guard, it's a different fight. Frankie Edgar took him down. He was busting up Frankie Edgar from bottom, even though Frankie was still landing some shots. But for the most part, I would say that Cheeto landed some dangerous elbows in those positions off of his back against Frankie Edgar. That's a dangerous matchup right there. He hit a key lock on Brian Kelleher. Kelleher was trying to take him down. He had a key lock on, which is a Kimura lock, guys, if you don't know. Key lock coming around the arm and then lock it on the wrist. And as Kelleher went to take him down, he reversed him to the mat and he stepped over and transitioned to an armbar, submitted Brian Kelleher in the first round. So he has like the ability to understand what's going on in there. And he's long as well. He's almost 6 feet tall himself. I don't know what his exact reach is. The only thing that I have going over him, I would say my hand speed is definitely faster than his. I'm a faster starter than him. I got the wrestling over either him and both O'Malley. What makes him dangerous is those kicks. The front kick that he hit Frankie Edgar with, the head kick that he hit Dominic Cruz with, the hook kick that he hit Rob Font with and wobbled him multiple times with all these crazy kicks that he throws. He kicks like a mule. Same way I throw big kicks, he throws big kicks as well. He's long, he's rangy, he's dangerous. Enter Henry Cejudo now. 5'3", I think. Maybe 5'4". His reach is about 68, 67. It might even be shorter. It might be 65. You can actually pull that up on Topology. So I'll go with that. I'm going to say he's 65. Because Merab is about 67. I'm going to say he's about 65-inch reach. I'm 71-inch reach. I'm 5'7".
64.
64.
Yeah.
He used to fight at flyweight. So he's not the biggest bantamweight. That's more so him not cutting that much weight.
Yeah.
So he can fight at 135 and not have to kill himself the way like I would do to get down to 35. He's coming up. So he's going to be a little bit more better with the conditioning maybe. Maybe I would say because he's smaller. I always say the lighter guys have better conditioning than the bigger guys. But Henry Cejudo doesn't do a lot of movements when he fights. He fights very like patient. He'll do one thing at a time. Like he'll chop versus like I'm landing a combination and going like spurts like that. He doesn't really fight like that. He conserves his energy well. He can wrestle, but most of his takedowns are inside leg trips. Single legs like sit downs, like we call it running the pipe. I don't really see him like taking someone down, lifting them and slamming them. He doesn't do takedowns like that. If I kick him, there's a good chance I could just lift my knee and touch his chin. And people are gonna. And the one thing I will say he has, if I throw a kick, Henry can wait to time it, like he does that karate stance shit. He can wait to time it, and as I go to throw a kick, look to dart in and close the gap quickly. And him being a faster guy, he's like Andrew Schultz was talking about like that dwarf speed. Like, and again, I'm being respectful here. I'm being respectful.
We're gonna quote Andrew Schultz on this one.
Yeah, I'm using Andrew Schultz's words. You know, like he talked about dwarf speed, like being able to do things just really quickly.
Yeah.
So if I throw a kick and I'm on one foot, I'm not as mobile because I'm on one foot. That's just common sense. So he'll be able to plant and dart in with the dwarf speed and get to me, close that gap. Now,
the dwarf speed.
So what I'm saying is, I think he has the least amount of things going for him in terms of tools. Not saying he can't win because it's a fight. Yeah. He can land something crazy in the early goings of the fight, but he has to get through a lot of tools: elbows, my knees, my front kicks, my jabs. Just as long as I keep rangy, and every time he steps in, touch, he steps in, smash an elbow. Touch, he steps in, clinch him up. If I get double underhooks on him, I can legit pick him up off the floor, bro. Like this. Like, where's he going to go? You know what I mean? I'm going to swing him around like this, dangle his feet like this. Come here. I'm like, come here, little nigga.
He looks like a little tree stump, though. He's a
little bit of a fire hydrant. And again, when he gets in shape, he's a tank. And I give him respect where it's due. Like I said, it's a tough fight. But I think stylistically, like, he gets the wrestling. Okay, he has the wrestling advantage on paper. If it was a wrestling match, they say he would win. Even though I don't think so. If it's freestyle, okay, maybe I'll give him the freestyle. But I don't even see how he win. He's just so much smaller than me. I'm like, dude, what is your path to victory in beating me in a freestyle match? Like, you take a shot, I can step around and cut the corner on you and expose your back for points. Like, people think my wrestling is not up to par with these guys just because they got a gold medal. I'm like, okay, cool, bro. Cool. I've wrestled with a lot of high-level guys, and I probably wrestle more competitively now than you do. But that's another story. But the jiu-jitsu department, what does Henry Cejudo do in jiu-jitsu? Like, that's a big threat. Like, Volkanovski, Brian Ortega. The two turning points in that fight where he could have closed the show, the guillotine and the triangle choke. Now, can Henry get to that position with me where he can lay in my guard and just hang out? I don't think so. I'm going to be throwing up elbows. I'm going to be framing, creating space. What's he going to do? Posture up and throw punches with his 64-inch reach? You know, I'm going to stiff arm him. It's going to be very difficult for him to hit me. He could punch me to the body. Like, these are all things that I know that he can do because I'm smart where I analyze, like, where can he actually hurt me?
Yeah.
If he takes me down and I frame and I create space and I get a knee shield and I push my hands out, he starts throwing punches and I'm on his shoulders and controlling his wrist. Where is that punch? That punch is like dangling in front of my face like this. He can go to my body.
When the bully holds your head and you swing like this.
And again, it's not trying to like be disrespectful about it, but I'm visualizing this. I'm just like, I just don't see how you win, like other than catching me and knocking me out. Mm-hmm. So why don't you just take the fight then? Because if I beat him, oh my God, you beat a guy who came off the couch. No respect again. Mm-hmm. And then if I lose to him, it's, oh, Henry beat a guy who's not that good. He's the luckiest champ anyway. And it's just like, there's no winning. There's no winning other than just winning and just saying, suck it, I won. Like, I don't know. But yeah, that's how I lay that up. And again, if I got the takedown on Henry and I get to the back control, I don't know what he thinks his wrestling is going to be able to do once I lock my hands like this. Mm-hmm. What are you going to go 2-on-1? You know how many guys do a 2-on-1? Like, what is your 2-on-1 different? Going 2 hands to 1 wrist. So this is a 2-on-1 escape. We go 2 fingers. We go thumb inside. We break the grip of 1 hand. We separate the grip by going on 1 hand, 2-on-1. Push it down, create space, and then we cut away. Henry goes 2-on-1. You think his 2-on-1, is he like Hercules? Is he going to be stronger than having the leverage of O'Malley, having the leverage of Cheeto, who are so much longer? They can push and get the gravity plus leverage and the size advantage. So they're going to have the weight. They're going to have gravity. They're going to have the height. But what's Henry going to have in terms of that position? I'm just like, I don't know what people are seeing. They don't just...
He looks strong. He looks strong, and he's not cutting that much weight, so he might have the strength. He might have the strength. I don't know.
I say he's explosive.
Okay.
But to say he has the strength, that part for me, I'm like, well, I just don't know how he would have the strength over... Like, is he squatting 400 pounds? Like, I'm going with 45ers and 55ers. Is he stronger than these guys? You know, so this is how I'm rationalizing in my head. I'm like, I don't mind taking a fight with Henry. I just want to make sure that I'm going to be taken care of. Yeah. You know, the UFC and I spoke, not recently since the fight. We spoke before, and then after the fight, I said to Hunter, I was like, you know, like hopefully we can honor our deal that we talked about. And he's like, said like, yeah, you have my word. A deal's a deal. Thank you, Hunter. Thank you, Dana. I appreciate that. So if it's Henry Cejudo, I really don't give a shit. Yeah. Like if I'm gonna risk losing, give me the guy that I can make the most money with. That's all I'm asking for. Yeah. I think it's O'Malley, but if they think if it's Henry, then give me Henry. I still think I match up well with him. Yeah. And I just laid it all out. Like Henry needs to figure out how to beat me and how to do that with a guy who can change and adapt during the middle of the fight the same way he can. Henry's got a competitive mindset. He knows how to adapt. I know how to adapt as well. I think it was going to be a very good fight. But I think any one of those guys would be a fun fight. But I think those other 2 guys are more dangerous where there's a factor where they can end the fight like that. Mm-hmm. Where Henry, I'm just like, I don't know, man. I just have a hard time seeing it.
With that being said, at Rami Norbert 007, who do you feel is the most deserving?
Of the title?
Deserving.
Who I think is the most deserving is the guy who just beat the number 1 contender in Piotr Jan, and I would say that's Sugar Sean O'Malley. O'Malley. I keep saying O'Malley. Everyone keeps correcting me. O'Malley.
What is it? O'Malley?
O'Malley, yeah. O'Malley.
Is he Irish? Is he Irish?
I think so. I think partial. Or full. I will say, though, I do think he is the most deserving based on what he's done because he beat the highest ranked credential guy next to Merab, who beat Jose Aldo, who was ranked 3rd at the time. Merab is now ranked 2nd.
Did he, though?
Well, I watched it back, and I thought he won.
Yeah?
Yeah. And now, if you want to make the argument that... Here's the other side of that. If he had lost that fight, would you have given him props? Just say, he's a real...
definitely.
So then,
definitely.
Why is it that when he gets the nod, he doesn't get the props?
Because he didn't. Because in my book, he didn't.
You gotta make it make sense.
Because in my book, he didn't win. It's like, if I go and fight Tyson, right?
Yeah.
And I last 12 rounds, right? Like people giving Logan Paul props for going all rounds with Mayweather.
Okay.
Does that mean Logan should go fight Errol Spence next or something? Like, you know what I mean? Like, no.
I mean, he could.
So he could fight you.
He could.
Okay. You're going to compare him now? Like, he could.
I was saying, like, if you're going to do freak show fights where the guys are not even in the same weight class, it's like, well, you know what I mean?
I was saying, just because he, like, you know, stood in there with him doesn't mean they're on the same level. That's how I feel about that one.
Well, skill wise, not on the same level.
And if that was 5 rounds, we know what would. I think we know what would have happened. But I hate to say that too because maybe it would have been a different Sean also.
Yeah, and we don't know how they would have done in going 5 rounds, other than Petr Yan, who's actually gone 5 rounds before it.
Yeah.
So it's different. It's like a whole bunch of like what ifs. But it's just like I feel like the people that don't give him the respect is the ones that like if he had lost.
I respect. I betted on him first though. I just want to put that out there. I betted on him to win, but I don't think he should fight for the title just yet.
Because of who's holding the belt. Is that why you're saying that?
No, I just feel like he didn't win. I feel like he just proved that he deserves to be in the top thing, but I don't think he deserves to fight for the belt. Because,
right, so let me change it.
Because he only fought like Peter, right? As far as top guy.
And Pedro, but that was obviously a no contest.
Yeah, and I think Pedro was kind of showing him some shit that he never seen before and kind of making him work.
Pedro won the first round, and then Sean started to come alive more in that second round.
Yeah.
So I could give credit where it's due. Like I'm not a Sean O'Malley hater. I give credit where it's due because I think when you start to discredit these guys, you give yourself a false sense of security, and then when you go into these fights, you're a little bit more delusional, or you're delusional, and you don't have the same respect that you probably should, and recognize the talents that these guys actually bring to the cage, like TJ Dillashaw, for instance. Guy really just thought like
he's gonna run through you.
Yeah, it's just like damn, this is crazy.
The nerve.
I'm like the arrogance that you have to have on 1,000, but. So here's my thing: if we're going by the merit, you beat the number one guy. Then why would you not? Like I'm trying to. It's like you're saying
because you have somebody like, I guess Cheeto that's going through the ranks and he's beat top guys. I feel like it.
Who did Cheeto beat last? Dominic Cruz. Who did he beat before that? Frankie Edgar. You think that deserves a title shot over beating Petr Yan?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I think they should fight.
Then you got Merab, who beat Jose Aldo, who was ranked 3rd, and then Jose retired because that was his last chance to fight for a belt. If he won, he would have been next.
Yeah.
You see how they did my boy Merab win? Nobody calls out Merab.
I don't want that work yet.
So that's where I'm at with that. So
I think it should be Henry, and then let Sugar and
why
Cheeto.
do you say Henry though?
He went out on top.
Okay, 2.5 years ago.
So come back.
May makes 3 years.
So come back. Just fight for the belt.
You think he should just fight right for the belt?
Yeah.
We're about to cut right now.
Damn.
We still got couple more seconds, but yeah, I think I'm not opposed to that. I just think if we're talking about most deserving, like they asked, I would say it's O'Malley based on the merit system. But there is an argument there for Henry Cejudo as well. I don't want people not to give the respect and props due because they're gonna try to say like, oh, he's been gone and sitting on the couch for so long. He's not GSP. GSP was training here the entire time. Cejudo got like heavy, whatever. Like
he's been coaching, right?
You see his physique, man.
Yeah, he looks
like everyone's making fun of him. Like, can you even make weight?
Yeah.
You know. So I mean, if Henry can make weight, man, saddle up, big boy. I don't really give a shit. Like I said, man, we'll fight. I'll fight anybody, bro. Anybody, any place, anytime, except in Australia. So not any place, anytime.
Dang, look at that. That shit far.
I know. I'll fight though. I think I'm gonna fight before June, maybe April or May. I would like to fight 2 times next year, if possible 3, even if it's with or without the belt, because 3-round fights are a lot easier. But we'll see what happens. That's kind of where I'm at with everything. So again, Henry, if it's you, wait for the boy, and I'll show you who the real king is. This bantamweight division is. Like I said, I think you're a tough competitor, but I know I got the skills and the tools to win, and I know I will shut you down and leave no more doubt. Hit your boy up. And stop tagging me in pictures of knockout losses, bro. That shit's just stupid. I stooped down to his level last night again and started playing the petty game. He showed a picture of me being knocked out from Marlon. It's like I was trying to imagine you doing how you do your crunches. And I showed him curled up in a ball. I was like, oh, you remind me of those flimsy lawn chairs. Him curled up in a ball with Mighty Mouse screaming like, yeah! I'm like, this you? This you on the ground right there?
Is this your king?
Yeah, so I'm like, bro, you need to relax. But I don't want to stoop down to that pettiness. I'd rather just use my words because everybody who sticks around this game long enough, shout out Anthony Burchak who pointed that out. Like, yeah, we're all going to face that same fate. So I don't want people thinking it's like okay to show fighters like themselves being plastered on the ground and being knocked out and unconscious. So I don't want to do shit like that. So I got better ways to talk shit. Henry's just so irrelevant. That's like, he feels like that's the only way to get to me. It doesn't get to me. It's just like
going in. I'll be like, man,
somebody writes a joke. Somebody writes a joke. Henry's
like
not that funny, bro. Henry's not that funny.
I don't think he's funny. I just feel like he's trying to hurt feelings. Like,
well, he thinks that's his way to get to me under my skin. But I'm like, dude, I'm only doing this back so that I remind you, like, you know, this was also you. Yeah. Like, by the way, like, you remember this?
Put the mirror up to him.
Yeah, like, bro, don't forget, because the internet never forgets. The internets. Other than that, where can people find you before this thing cuts off?
Well, I deactivated my Instagram, but usual_Kevin, or my photography page _CTV_media.
You gotta say it on the mic, though.
Damn.
Just the page.
Usual_Kevin, or my photography page _CTV_media.
On IG.
On Instagram, yes.
So you guys check him out. He's got some really good work. Like I said, hopefully this media company takes off. Guys, like, subscribe. Thank you guys for always tuning in. If you like my shit, subscribe to my shit or spin it back, fish, baby. Don't forget G Fuel. Use my promo code aljo for 20% off this month, next month, all months. Sometimes we're going to be doing 30%. I'll let you guys know when that boost code comes in. Click the link in the bio if you want some Funkmaster merch. Go to aljamainsterling.com. Thanks always. Be safe. Stay blessed. Peace.